Hello and welcome back to Herd of the Line, UK's premier amateur podcast about the NFL. Yes, it's me. I'm back. It's Chapman, and it's been a few weeks post-draft. First time for me to be on the show, and with me as Batch and Sam. How are we, gentlemen?
Good, good.
I'm very well,
Cilantro,
thank you.
cilantro to you both. I'm in Dublin, so this is the first time I'm recording. Actually, no, I think I did it. I think I did one podcast in the States maybe a year or so ago. Anyway, but cheers. First time in Dublin doing the pod. Mm. Undisclosed hotel location. We're finishing out the power rankings that you guys, it's the post draft power rankings into the summer. Yes, it's May. We're power ranking in May. That's great. You guys did 32 to 17, I believe, and we will do 16 to 1. I'm very interested to see where we land in those top five. I think Sam and I are going to disagree a little bit,
Yeah.
there's nothing new there. Anyway, but before we get into that, we know this week was the schedule release week. We're all very excited about all the social media videos that were passed around and whatnot. And everybody's excited about their season. There's lots of hope. Maybe some people are a little sad, but we are going to save that conversation for next week. So we will be talking about the schedule, but we'll get into just a little schedule here because we are an international show and we want to talk just quickly about the international games. Uh, Batch, I'm going to run through them. Sam, you guys mentioned, but week one is the first time a game is going to be played in Australia, in Melbourne. It is Sam's Los Angeles Rams as the away team to the 49ers down in Melbourne. What do we think about this, gentlemen? Australia.
It's going to be interesting, to say the least. You know, that there are certain people who the time zone seems to be putting them off a little bit because there is a lot of traveling for both teams in week one.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're going to do it, at least do it in week one. Do it at the
Yeah.
beginning of the season. Sam, are you the game will start, see, it's an 8:35 Eastern kickoff, which means it's a
12:30. This it's
one
like
30.
it's pretty much like any other normal West Coast game, to be honest. So
Yeah, there you
it'll
go.
be no difference. I'll probably stay up. I might stay up and watch it, or I might do what I normally do and just wake up in the morning and watch the highlights.
I was talking to some of our some mutual friends about the NBA playoff basketball is just impossible almost to watch. And people saying I have a buddy who's a big San Antonio Spurs fans, and he's like, "Oh, it gives me motivation to wake up and I watch the games on the treadmill when I work out." I was like, "That's actually pretty smart. Like you get a workout and you get to watch it. You reward yourself there." So anyway, all right. And week three is we're going back to Brazil, guys, going back to Rio de Janeiro. And it is the Baltimore Ravens playing the Dallas Cowboys, which is a very odd game, which I'm actually kind of interested to watch. Those are two teams that underperformed last year to what their ambitions were. And this will be easy for us to watch. It'll be a 9 p.m., 9:25 p.m. start for us here in the UK. Anyway, no Cowboys or Ravens love in this group of guys, so we'll keep rolling along. Then we have our three London games. The first one's Colts Commanders. That is week four. Week five, which is the one I'm interested in, is Eagles Jags. That's going to be a really decent game. That's at the hot toddy, if you will. I'm excited to go there. And then Texans Jags, also division game. That'll actually be good. That is week six. So London got a decent slate. I think it's a decent slate. Then in week seven, we have our first game in Paris ever, if I'm not, or in France, I should say, and that is the Steelers and the Saints. I feel bad for the French. That's I guess the NFL has the same attitude towards the French as many in the UK. So I'm not that excited about that game. Then it's my team once again traveling, and it's week nine. It's Madrid. It's the Bengals and the Falcons. I will be going to Spain. So this is the second year in a row I've got to go see my team in a different country. That's a fun game. Joe Burrow. Don't know who our quarterback will be by then. Maybe it'll be Penix. Who knows? But it'll be a fun game. Munich, week 10. Pats Lions. Probably the best international outside of the 49ers Rams game. I think this is probably the most marquee matchup. I'm going through these. You guys can definitely say anything. We're going back to Germany, third game in Germany. Any thoughts on that?
No, it'll be an interesting game to watch. Depends
Yeah.
which Bengals have turned up and what Stefanski can do with your lot.
Yeah, we'll see. And then finally, the last international game is week 11, Mexico City. Vikings go down to play the 49ers. That will be a 49ers home game for sure in Mexico. Um, yeah, Mexico. I mean, the 49ers too. That's good for your Rams, man. They're just what are they putting up like 70,000 miles or something this season?
Yeah, I think both us and the Rams, us and the Seahawks are both putting up nearly 40,000 miles. Thankfully, San Fran's not too far away from Mexico, so I think it's probably even a shorter trip than flying to like the East Coast. So it's
It's
not
crazy.
terribly bad. But yeah, but I think there's only two teams that are over the 35K mark, and that's both us and the Seahawks, and us and the Niners. And then I think there's something like Panthers have only got like 9,000 to travel.
It's
So
Yeah,
crazy.
we're the second shortest amount of distance team in Browns.
Well, this is something I would love to get into over the off season, which maybe we can bring it up in our scheduling conversation we're going to have next week, with just about how much the NFL has changed because of the streaming teams, because or the streaming games now that we've got a Christmas or Thanksgiving Eve. Thanksgiving, I
that's the
know
Rams as well.
Thanksgiving that doesn't exist, but now it does. We have five, what is it, 4 games on Christmas Day?
Hmm.
Anyway, we're getting into all that next week. Please tune in. Please subscribe. That reminds me, please follow us on socials. Please follow us we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. Also, if you just scroll down, follow, we love it. Please share the pod with other people. This is our third season. We're going into our third season this upcoming season, and we've been growing, and we really want to continue that. You can follow all the hosts, including the college guys, the fantasy pod that Sam hosts now. Sam is on 3 different pods now. I don't know how this man has a toddler too, and he's married. How does he do this? And a full-time job. Anyway, so make sure you like, subscribe, do all that good stuff for us. All right, guys. A couple of news tidbits. Batch. I believe that the Steelers have a quarterback this season.
Yeah, they've re-signed Aaron Rodgers for a solo 1-year deal.
How much is he getting paid? Do we know?
I didn't see it because it came out overnight the other night, but I will get back to you with that.
Excellent.
25
And
million.
25 mil. That's
Up to $25 million.
not a bad payday what was it called? AOP? OAP, OAP,
OAP.
OAP. Yeah, there you go. And then I believe there was a kicker situation that you wanted to mention too, as well. Boswell.
Yeah, Chris Boswell signed a $7 million a year deal for 4 years with the Steelers. Everyone loves a kicker. Kickers and punters are the way forward. So that's a good deal for him, to be honest.
4 years. I mean, I know kickers don't do a lot, but 4 years for a 35-year-old does seem a little strong. I know it doesn't really equate the same way because kickers can go on for as long as they've got enough strength in the leg, then they're okay. But
Well, their previous head coach, I think he described him as an assassin or something like that. It was like, Boz is an assassin, man. And fair
Wow.
play, he does hit quite regularly. Not very often he misses, to be
But
fair.
I can tell you, look, with the new kickoff rules, and when you don't have a kicker, if you can get to what is it, the opposing 40, you got a good chance of getting. So if you got somebody who can do that, you might as well pay him. And it's not real money anyway, so it's all about the guarantees. But we'll see. Anything else, Batch, that we need to chat about? But yeah,
Uh,
your wrestling buddy.
oh, yeah. Saints have signed Brock Rechsteiner, who is the son of former WWE, WCW Scott Steiner. And he's just come out and he's turned around and said, "Yeah, I want to pursue football, and then once that's done, I'll go into the family business of wrestling." So I think that's a pretty cool signing for the Saints. Mrs. Fletch will love that.
Well, there we go.
He's already,
We love cross pods. So I'm sure Sam's going to be hosting a wrestling pod in the next 6 months at some
yeah.
point.
Well, I mean, there's already one Steiner who's already pretty big in WWE now, so I'm sure that he has the opportunity to wait for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
Power rankings. Power rankings. That's what we're doing today, guys. Sorry. Anyway, so last week you guys did the power rankings. I'm going to read 32 to 17, and then we are going to start at 16, and we're going to get all the way to 1. This is the premier amateur podcast of the NFL in the UK's power rankings, otherwise known as the Herd of the Line power rankings post draft. Okay, so number 32 was the Dolphins. Number 31 was the Cardinals. Number 30 is Titans. Number 29, Jets. Number 28, Batches Browns. Number 27, the Raiders. Number 26, Vikings. That one was 25 Commanders, 24 Giants, 23 Saints, 22 Falcons, 21 Bucks, 20 Panthers. Panthers at 20, questionable. 19 Colts, 18 Steelers, and then finally 17 the Cowboys. All right, guys. So we have 16 more teams to rank here. I had a couple of qualms with a few of these, i.e., the Panthers being I see what you did with the NFC South. I'm not on the pod for one week, and I see what you guys do. I can't argue with it though, but I would not have the Panthers above the Bucks, uh, and possibly the Falcons. But I'm not going to quibble with you. All right. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna say the number. One of us is gonna go nominate a team. We'll go around and then we'll see where we get to. Is that cool? I am going to time this because I'm a stickler about time. So we'll have to come up with a solution here. So and by the way, it was said in the last pod that you are not still a rookie, which I completely disagree with because until you've gotten through a season with us, you're still the rookie badge, or until somebody new comes on this podcast. But I'm still going to say you're the rookie, even when the new guy comes. So here we go. Number 16, Batch. Who do you got at 16?
Niners.
Niners. I'm sure Sam's going to agree with you.
No, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
It feels a little low, but just because of they've had a few good additions in the off season more than anything.
Who'd you have?
The Bengals.
I had the Jags, but I had the Bengals at 15. So I will back your Bengals at 16.
Yeah, I think the only reason I have them so low is because I was toying between them. Was it the Cowboys at 17?
We did have the Cowboys.
In between those two, because if Joe Burrow comes back the Joe Burrow we know, he's a lot better than what he can be.
It's a top 10 team. They're a top 10 team with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and now that they've finally started fixing
the defense,
that O-line and the defense, I think they should be better. But I refuse to put them higher.
I agree with you.
I don't know what's going to happen.
I agree with you. Can you get on that? Can you get on that wavelength?
Yeah, personally, I had the Bungles higher, but
okay,
I get it. So I'll call Bungles up at 16.
All right. So we're gonna go Bengals 16. All right. So I don't have it. So Sam, who do you have at 15?
I did have the Chargers at 15, but it was more just I need them to prove that O-line can be healthy more than anything. That was pretty much the only reason.
Can I tell you guys something? So I used the betting apps, the Super Bowl odds to do my power rankings, including using Sharp Football. Shout out to Sharp Football. They have the Chargers in the top 6 teams in the NFL Super Bowl odds, which I was like, what? I don't think I can back the chart. I don't think the Chargers are. I think they're a little better than 15, but I do not. I don't think they're top 5. But I would like to nominate the Jags at 15.
Yeah. I'm seconding the Jags. I had the Jags at 15.
Sam nodded his head.
I had them at 14, so I'm happy with them being 15.
All right, there we go. All right, so it's 14s to me. This is where I have the Niners.
Okay.
I can get on that.
I don't have them there, but
Do you have them in the top 10?
at the moment I do, yeah. But I
Do you
think
have them at 10?
I don't have them at 10 now. They're a little higher. But again, I was going based upon the fact that they did okay last year, i.e., got to the playoffs, and they've added talent. So to me, I
Yeah.
don't see. I can't slide them further down than where they were at. Is more where I was thinking. But if you want to stick them at 14, I am not
But
going to argue it.
But you are our NFC West expert, so here's what I would say. Who would you see? Who would you see at 14 above them? Because I think they're in this. I can't put them in the top 10 for that reason, Sam. That's
Yeah.
where I don't think we can put them in the top 10. But we've got four spots to play with. So if you were going to put somebody else at 14, who would you have? And we could talk about that.
Well, I mean, I had the Jags, so again, it would probably be my next one would I don't know. I would happily stick with the 49ers at that because I think for me, there's this kind of like area between, I would say, sort of like 9, 10, all the way down to 14, where you could stick anyone in any
I
order.
would agree. I would agree.
So
All
yeah,
right.
I'm happy with the Niners being there.
All right. We're going to do Niners at 14. 14. Batch, back to you. This is going fast and furious, guys. Who do you got at 13?
Texans.
Ooh, I disagree with that.
Okay, that's fair.
Sam, who do
Sam,
you?
I have the Packers there.
Woo!
I had the Packers at 14 to be fair, but
My only reasoning for the Packers is they've lost a lot of bits on the offense, and I know that people will say, well, it's kind of made them easier to choose, but their wide receiver core has always been an issue in terms of injuries. The defense has got a lot better. Obviously, they added um, Mike Parsons there. He did get quite a big injury, so again, I don't know how that's going to impact them. Um, but I just, again, they're very much similar to like the 49ers. They're just in a very tough division. So I think that it's just a case of who do I see finishing in what position, and I see the Packers being the third out of those four.
Weirdly, I have Packers top five, but I'm gonna acquiesce to you guys. They are also top five in
betting.
the Super Bowl odds.
Mm.
So, which never is. Which again, no one had Seahawks Patriots last year. I had a 60. I won a 60 to 1 5 pound. No, sorry, it wasn't 5 pound. It was 2 pound bet that I put on this. So anyway, Seattle, I won. I won. So all right, we're gonna go Packers 13 because that's the consensus. Uh, Back to you, Sam, for 12.
Uh, well, 12, I do have the Ravens at the moment.
Hmm.
And again, it's more just new head coach. How's that going to play out, sort of thing? You know, are they going to go back to the running game properly? I don't know how the Ravens are going to play out. So I didn't know where to really put them, and they 12 felt about right because again, it makes them playoff contenders. But I don't think that with the other teams above them, I wasn't confident having them any higher than I certainly was torn between putting them above who I have in 11th, but I wouldn't have been so confident.
What about you, Batch? Who do you have at 12?
I actually had the Chargers.
Okay. And I had the Lions, but I also had the Chiefs at 13. So I'm way off now. Here's what I would say about the Ravens, Sam, if I could just argue with you just a little, or debate with you a little bit. I think the new coach is actually a good thing for them. I think Harbaugh being there so long, things got stale. I think their offense was really uninvented. I know they brought in, and I think Mentor actually was somebody I was really excited potentially for the Falcons. Not saying, who knows. And usually when the Falcons don't pick that coach, they usually do really well. So anyway, and I'd also say I think that division is actually quite winnable. So I personally think 12 is a little low for them. I think last year was a bad year. I also would say I would I typically I actually more think I would fade the Chiefs more this year, even though because we just don't know what we're all just counting on Mahomes being miraculously healed because he's, the new superhuman of football. But I don't know.
I
I
did.
could go either way.
I have the Chiefs at 11. So again, putting them at
All
12
right.
wouldn't be a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah. I'll back that. Chiefs at 12.
All right. Let's do Chiefs at 12. Uh, I'm at 11, so it's my turn. I had basically Chiefs at 13, Lions and Bears, because I feel like Lions and Bears are going to be the cream of that division,
Uh,
whether they're top
I
10 teams or not. So I'm good either way with that.
I had Bears at 11.
Okay.
I had Lions a little bit higher than you, but I had Bears at
No,
11.
no, I wanted to put them really close to each other because I think, it was uh they're both playoff teams in my view. So,
What about
what do you
you,
think?
Sam?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, I had the Chiefs at 11, but I've got the Lions at 10. So again, I wouldn't be against putting them at 11. I
Do
just
you
think
like Bears better than Chiefs? Or Lions, sorry. Do you like Bears better than
um,
Lions?
I
Where do you
th
have them?
I have the Bears at 7, so I have them a lot
Okay,
higher.
you do. All right.
Yeah.
So why don't we put Lions at 11? Would you be cool with that then?
Yeah.
I'm not sure super producer would be, but let's go.
Well,
I think
this
he'd
is all,
rather. I mean, he's used to it. He's used to the Lions being underestimated, so it's fine.
yeah. Back to you, batch 10.
10, I had the Bungles.
Oh, okay, but they're off the board, so you got to give me a team that's still on the board.
Um, uh, Texans then.
Texans
Texans
at
can
10.
easily replace the Bengals. They've got a good defense. They've got unknown coming back with their wide receivers. They could easily climb higher, but at the same time, if things don't go well with their QB, they could easily drop as well. So I think 10's not a bad position for them.
Yeah,
What do you think, Sam?
I'd probably agree with that. My issue with the Texans, I mean, the defense is going to be phenomenal as it was last year. It's their offense that really worries me because of the fact that CJ Stroud, if we're going off CJ Stroud in his rookie year, then we could be looking at potential AFC champion contenders. But because he has then had those dips, and if we look at again going to recency bias, if you look at the last game we played, he threw an obscene number of interceptions. So I just don't know how the Texans are going to play out. So I don't think I could put them in. Yeah, I think 10 suits them.
Cool. We'll go 10 there. I had them at 7, just for argument's sake. All right, guys. So we are at 9. So back to you, Sam, for 9.
Well, at 9, I did have. Where did I put them? I put the Packers at 9, I think. So and I changed it. So it would probably be I do like them, but not that hard. Probably the Chargers.
Chargers, okay.
Just again because of the fact that I'm just not confident on that O line until I can see it in the flesh and it actually holds up. I'm wary of them.
Do you like the Chargers better than the Patriots? Do you like the Patriots better than the Chargers then?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, Batch, what do you think about Chargers at 9?
Yeah, Chargers. I like Chargers more than Pats. Sorry, less
No.
than
Yeah.
Pats.
Yeah.
I like Pats more than Chargers. Sorry.
Got it. All right, let's go Chargers at 9. All right, for 8 for me, I had the Chargers, so I'm going to nominate the Pats for 8 because I do not like the Pats. I put them at 10. I didn't hate them, but I put them at 10.
I'm not
What do
going to
you-
lie. The Pats were very much higher on mine.
That's fine. They were in the Super Bowl last year. It's
That's
just a
why they
person
were at free
as
for me.
a
I
personal opinion.
I had the Pats at 6, but I think it was purely down to I think they're not going to be as good as last year. I think the team, obviously, they're quite lucky in the fact that I don't think the team has changed too much, but their schedule is going to get significantly harder. So
I'm going to tell you this. I think so, but I think Drake May is the real deal. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. I don't know if he's a superstar, but I think he's a really good. But I will say this: the shit with, excuse my language, this stuff with Mike Variable, it's he is their mojo.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
that is like why he's a good coach. He's not, I
Yeah,
mean, he's a very disciplined, like his thing is discipline, doing things right. He's not like this, he is a good defensive mind, obviously, because of his playing, I'm not saying he's like a knucklehead coach that's like, I don't think anyway. But I think his confidence is what propels the teams he coaches in. And I think that is going to be diminished with all this stuff going on. And I
So you
think
think
that's
you're going
going
to sort of see that like
I,
post when the Titans had that
yeah,
real drop off after the playoff run that they had
yeah.
when he won their um, Coach of the Year, that sort of vibe.
I just personally think this is going to be their year. They lost the Super Bowl. It's just going to be their year from hell. I'm not saying that Mike Vrabel's done or like I need that. I just think this is going to be their year from hell, and they're just going to have to get through it. I personally put them at 10, and I felt like that was almost generous. It's just having watched sports for so long, like American sports. It's like I just feel like, I could be completely wrong, but I just think the vibe is going to be quite different. So. All right. So we're at 7 now. Here are the teams that we still have left, guys. We have the Eagles, the Bears, the
Ravens. Yeah,
Ravens,
Ravens.
Broncos, Rams, Bills, Seahawks.
Mhm.
So,
do we have
batch.
Niners left? Sorry.
No,
No, they're
Niners
gone.
we put at third.
14.
Oh yeah, 14. Yeah, apologies. For me, I've got the Ravens at 7.
Okay.
I have the Bears at 7, but I wouldn't care either way out of those two personally.
Hmm. I personally like the Ravens more than I like the Bears, so I would back the Bears over the Ravens at 7.
Yeah, I mean, if I go by my list said 7 Bears, so I'm happy with putting them in 7 because that's what I already had. But
Yeah, I get why you would. My argument for the Bears is I believe Kyler could take another step forward, and they've got a good offensive head coach who, let's be honest, did quite a lot with nothing expected last season.
You mean
So
Caleb?
Caleb, you mean? Yeah.
Caleb,
Okay.
who did I say?
You
Sorry,
said Kyler.
You said Kyler.
Kyler. Sorry, I meant
Wrong,
Caleb.
wrong NFC North team.
Yeah, yeah, I meant Caleb though.
Yeah.
I do
Bat, you're in
believe.
great company. I mess up names constantly. So,
I think my only
uh,
thing about the Bears is the fact that I mean, I know that their offense was, sorry, their defense was good, but it was only good when it actually got interceptions, and they've lost. Didn't Brisker go somewhere else? Brisker gone
Yeah,
somewhere
didn't he
else from
go
what I remember.
Steelers?
Possibly, but I always thought he was an important part of their defense, and losing him is to me is big. So um, that's why I put them at 7 rather than higher. And also, I'm still not sold on Caleb. There's
Jacob
talent in there somewhere, but I'm just not sold on him completely.
Jaquan Brisker went to the Steelers.
Yeah.
all right, guys. All right, we're gonna do Bears at 7.
Yeah.
Was that whose was it? Was that mine?
Oh, that was me.
All right, so back to you, Sam. 6.
Um, well, 6, I actually had the Patriots, but if I'm gonna again, if I was to go off of it, I would probably put the Ravens at 6. Again, just because I had them at 12, and I prefer that. I think the 5 teams above them, for me, are better.
I think I can go with that, but only because I'm gonna nominate the Patriots for 5. Wait, how did we? Okay, wow. I feel like there's a team that's about to sneak into the top. Wait, no, we've missed a number here
Patriots,
because
Ravens will be 6.
okay. But we have
Yeah,
5 teams left. No, wait, hold on. Seahawks, Bills, Rams, Broncos. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
So those are the 5 left.
All right. So, and no, but then we also have the Patriots. Oh, we got the Patriots. Sorry, sorry.
Yeah,
All
we've got
right.
them 8
So I'm gonna nominate the Eagles here.
at
for
6.
5. Yeah,
Yeah, which I don't like. I had the Eagles at 8, I think. No, I had them at 9. So Eagles at 5.
yeah, I had them at 6, so I can see why.
You're not gonna
I'm,
argue.
I am at 4, and I think it's just purely because of the fact that I think their offense is going to be a hell of a lot better this year. It has to be.
It's a
Otherwise, so I think
make or break year for Jalen, isn't it? Because he's in a contract year now, isn't he?
yeah, quite possibly.
And
I haven't looked at his contract situation, to be honest.
a lot of people have been saying no, he's in a contract year, and they weren't happy with his playing under center last season. So he's got a point to prove, basically.
Yeah. All right.
They've kept hold of AJ Brown so far, so it's a good
He's gonna
start.
be gone. I think he'll be gone. I think they're just waiting for post June the 1st.
Yeah.
All right. Batch number 4. Here's your choices: Broncos, Rams, Bills, Seahawks. By the way, our top 4 are the same, I think.
I think the Broncos will be number 4.
That's what I had. Exactly.
Broncos, let's be honest, Sean Payton is a known thing. Everyone knows their defense just plays hard. And truthfully, I like Bo Nix.
Wow. What do you think, Sam? You give it that?
Well, I had the Broncos. I mean, to be fair, I had the Eagles at 4. I had the Bills at 5. So if I was to make an argument, I would say it'd be the Bills, just because, it's more so because I just want to, again, new coaching situation. Do I think that that's going to not necessarily mean that they'll then go on to be a top 3 team this year? I mean, I don't know. Again, there is the argument that, again, it's similar to the Ravens situation, where it could be that it's a breath of fresh air and it's a difference and that'll help them. But I'm just not. I'm not convinced on them, and I don't know if DJ Moore is the answer to the wide receiver room. So,
yeah, we'll see.
if you want to go Broncos, you can. I mean, like I say, I had them at 3. So.
I don't think I could put Josh Allen lower than top 3. Sorry.
That's fine.
That's fair.
I get
that. Sam, I'm guessing you're going to go Bills at 3.
Yeah, Bills at 3.
I had Bills at 2, which is what I thought we had argued about. So, Batch, you are the where would you put the Bills / Rams?
Bills at 3, Rams at 2.
Okay, fair enough. I have been outvoted. All right, Rams at 2. I had Rams at 3, respectfully. It's only a Josh Allen thing. I'm a Josh Allen lover, Sam, so no offense. I love Matthew Stafford. And Sean McVay. So Seahawks won. I know we're all surprised.
Yeah, I don't have Seahawks at 1, but
I knew it. I knew it.
I knew.
There's probably an element of bias.
No. Well, Sam, this leads us to a really good conversation that I wanted to have really quickly with you. So, but let's recap really quick for our power rankings. So, at 16, we have the Bengals. At 15, we have the Jags. 14, we have the 49ers. 15, we have the Packers. 12, the Chiefs. No disrespect, Mr. Holmes. 11, Fletch's Lions. 10, the Texans. 9, the Chargers. 8, the Patriots. 7, the Bears. 6, Ravens. 5, Eagles. 4, Broncos. 3, the Bills. 2, Sam's Rams. And then 1, the Seahawks. I did not do this in the democratic way. Batch, did you have Seahawks 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a you got your Bills vote.
Don't get me wrong, the Rams are brilliant, but how can you not put the defending Super Bowl champions at number 1?
You got to put them up. You got to put them up. All right. I just wanted to pull up these Super Bowl odds really quick, and then I'm going to have a quick discussion about Ty Simpson's here in a second with my friend Sam. I can't find them. Hold on. Sharp Football Super Bowl odds. So I want to read for the audience. This is good podcasting, guys. There we go. Here we go. Power. So here are the odds, guys. I'm going to just read the top 10. So it is Sam's Los Angeles Raiders. Jeez.
Los Angeles
Los
Raiders.
Raiders. Well, hey, there was a team. The Rams are plus 800 to win the Super Bowl. They are the number one. They are the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl, right next to the Seahawks, and then right next to the Bills. So all three of those teams, the Rams odds are slightly better or slightly higher, but those are the three favorite teams that Vegas thinks are winning the Super Bowl. Followed by, this is crazy, guys. Number four is Green Bay Packers. The number five is the Chargers at plus 1600. Then the Broncos, then the Ravens, Eagles, Texans at 9, so we weren't too far off. Pats at 10, which is where I had them. And then Detroit and the Bengals, San Fran, Kansas City, and Jacksonville. That's the top 15. I'd say our power rankings are pretty close there to the old Super Bowl odds. Granted, I did look at them after I did my thing just to check it out. I think it's absolutely bananas that the Packers and the Chargers are 4 and 5 on this list. And if I could bet against them not winning the Super Bowl, I would.
Yeah, I think the Chargers aren't the best team in that division, so I'm not sure how they can be the higher than the Broncos.
Harbaugh and Herbert and Michael McDonald. Everyone loves an offseason, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about the Mike McDaniel's.
Mike McDaniel, sorry,
Yeah.
McDonald. Let's call him McDonald. McDonald's he went to the Raiders. Sorry about that. Uh, it's a it's group thinking and narrative, but like I said, like last year, if I put a lonely $2 on some like 16 to 1 odds on Super Bowl winners, and I came home happy with or I can't remember what I made off that bet. Maybe it was 30 to 1. I can't remember. I made like 60 pounds. That's what I know. So I think it was 30 to 1. So which I tell everyone to do that in June. Take like 10 pounds and go put like 1 to 2 pound bets on like some very off Super Bowl odds. And it's fun because if they get to the Seahawks were in the NFC Championship game, and I was like, do I cash out? Do I cash out at half the winnings? It's like, nah, you got to let it ride. But it's like, anyway. All right, Sam. So I just want to talk to you about this. Like, we are not part of the media, though one day we will be, I'm sure.
I
Here at the El Horde of the Line. Um, there was a I didn't get to hear about what, this is not about the actual pick, but this was more about I think the Rams, because of the love of Sean McVay and obviously Les Snead, the success, which is undeniable. There is this, it's interesting that there's this talk about in the national media, especially in the US, about NFL. Like there is basically a conversation where it's like when some teams do certain things, it's brilliant. And then other teams do the same thing, it's stupid, or vice versa. If I were the Falcons, I never would have traded that pick. But it did hit from a player, though we now know James Pierce Jr. has all this legal stuff, but it looks like if he can look, I want him to get his life together, not because he's a Falcon, but because you don't want to, it sounds like, he needs some help and hopefully he's getting help, but he did get 10 and a half sacks. He led he was a finalist for the Rookie of the Year. We also got Xavier Watt as the third round pick that you guys gave us in that trade. But the narrative around that going into this draft was, no, they picked Ty Simpson because they had a free pick. It was a free pick that you guys had. You didn't have a free pick. You gave up your first round pick in the previous draft, which had better players in it than this draft. Now, this isn't to say that what the Falcons did was smart, but what I'm just saying is like, would you not have rather had 10 and a half sacks more on your team this coming year, next year? Granted, you have a great defense or some other play, all I'm saying is what my bigger point is like, it's all about saying the Falcons are dumb versus actually saying, well, the Rams could have it wasn't a free pick. It was a pick you gave up last year in a draft that had more talent per se. Granted, if Ty Simpson becomes a 10-year veteran quarterback, it's not, again, putting that away. I just didn't like that narrative. I don't know if you heard that too. People were like, well, they had this because you did get McDuffie, which was great. Like, I think that was a great, that really was your first round pick, but you still had to give up a first rounder last year in order to get this one. Granted, it's a higher pick, but it wasn't a free pick. And that was my only qualm going
yeah,
out.
I don't necessarily like the narrative that it's necessarily a free pick. I just think that all it was that they well, based upon what obviously has been said and what's been discussed, and that, I mean, it sounds like, I do think that has probably played a part in terms of um uh Les's, I suppose, closeness to the family and all of that, that I think
Yeah, yeah.
probably played a part, especially as he kind of convinced him that, because they were talking obviously about going back to college and then he decided not to. Sounded like the pick had been pretty much done and dusted from January, even before the season had finished in college. I think it was more just that the only reason that I can see why they went with him was because of the fact that they knew Stafford was coming into this season probably likely going to have another two. They were obviously already agreeing a 2-year extension, and to them they were thinking, well, we like this guy, so we've got an opportunity to take a free hit, so to speak. It's not really a free.
Take a risk. Take a risk.
Yeah, take a risk is better terms. I'm saying it's a free hit. It's not right because it's still a
Yeah.
risk. But I think putting yourself in that situation of, we know we're going to get this guy in the first round. He's going to have a 4-year contract with a 5-year option. We know we're not going to play him for 2 years, and he's going to learn under arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the league, or at least over the period of time. It seemed like a no-brainer. But I think to say that it's a free hit or a free pick, or that we were able to sort of like get away with that pick, I think it's a bit hard. I think it's harsh on the Falcons, because the Falcons.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the Falcons picked up. The Falcons made a decision. Yes, okay, it didn't necessarily play out in terms of the overall standing of where the Falcons finished.
Yeah, we thought we were going to be at least picking you. We thought the pick was going to be in the 20s, essentially.
Yeah,
And
so
it's not.
And to be honest, I think when they made that trade, I think the thought was, well, the Falcons probably will be challenging for the NFC South, so we are going to be looking at a 20s pick. So for the Rams, I think they'd already made the decision. They were going to pick Ty Simpson with whatever pick they had in 13 to 20, right. And I think it just so happened that you were at 13, not at 20. And so, but I think it works out. It just reminds me of like the Lions trade. It works for both teams. And I think that's the narrative we should be going with, of both teams have benefited in their own way. And I don't like this whole idea of, I mean, I've even said it with the Lions from before, when we did all of that trade, and everyone goes, well, we're going to compare the trade and see what happens. Both teams thought it was a good idea at the time, and it worked out. We don't know what's going to happen with this pick. At the moment, it benefited the Falcons. They've got James Pierce, and he's been brilliant for them. And, it was a position that you would realistically,
desperately needed.
From your perspective, you desperately needed for a number of years. You've got him, and he's been brilliant. Hopefully he can sort out all of the stuff in the off field, and we can move on from that.
Yeah.
But for us, we're not going to know if this pick's any good until another 2-3 years' time. So,
look, I'm all for taking quarterbacks, and I think actually, the biggest thing the Falcons didn't do was start getting somebody under Matt Ryan, and part of that was probably Matt Ryan's ego. Like, even though he's actually a really nice guy, I think he definitely, like, all these type A quarterbacks like Stafford have egos, but you gotta kind of, and we didn't do that. And I absolutely, I don't know if Tyson is a guy or not, but I think, yeah, I just didn't like. I just kept hearing this, like, oh, like it was on like some of the shows I really listened to that I really really like, but they were like, because like people don't really pay attention. Like, it's funny, like these guys who actually write and they cover the NFL for a living, they can't be in the weeds on all of it, but like even simply that, I just kept hearing that narrative. But
I think it's because people tend to forget about these things. They just kind of they see it as they talk about it in the now, and then what happened in last year's draft doesn't impact this year's draft in their heads.
Right.
And they're talking just about how, oh well, this was this was a rich pick because they had this abundance of talent, and they could just go, oh well, we can just take a quarterback, it's no issue.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem, is that was the narrative driven for this year's, and last year's the narrative was, well, can are they going to be able to afford to be able to give up that next year's pick just to get this guy? And it's like, I think, and again, that comes just down to situational bias. I think, the Rams are in a,
No, good teams get the benefit of the doubt, and
yeah,
you guys are a good team, and you're a well-run team. You're well, look, I mean, I think I I'm not as big of a Les Snead fan as I am of Sean McVay, and I think Sean McVay covers over a lot of things. But also, I'm not. But no disrespect to Les Snead. He's won a Super Bowl. He's made some pretty shrewd moves. Like
yeah.
so, and
As,
so I mean
as
so anyway. Sorry, go ahead.
any Rams fan, you'll ask them. We trust. Like, you see some people are really sort of talking about the Cowboys, for example. A lot of them don't even like their own owner slash GM in Jerry Jones, which is not a surprise really. But the one thing that you tend to find with majority of Rams fans is they will wholly, like, even if a lot of them didn't agree with the Ty Simpson pick, day after everyone's like, well, we trust Les Snead and McVay to make the right decisions, and I think because of the history in that, we've been able to be in that position.
Yeah.
Me personally, I mean, I said it in the chat and everything. I wouldn't have picked Ty Simpson at 13, and at the time, I think a lot of Rams fans were really pissed by it. But going forward, you see that where it's going with it. So.
Well, the thing about it is you're in a draft where trading back, like he probably would have been there later, but like there was no real incentive to trade in this draft. I mean, next year is going to be nuts. Like it's going to be absolutely bananas next year. But
yeah, and
yeah,
this is
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
If we're going to be contending for a Super Bowl next year, is which what every ranking slash betting site says is we're going to be at least around, either around the position we are now or in the Super Bowl. We're not going to be able to go and get a Arch Manning, a whatever, if we decided that, if Stafford decided to hang up his cleats and we move on. So I think they made the decision on the fact that we need to get him now, because we're not, even though we're in win now, we can't rely on a year's time that if Stafford decides to go, we can't get the quarterback to replace him. So I think it was just a case of they really like Ty Simpson. And I've watched some of his tape since, and I can see why they like him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still not convinced. He certainly wasn't on my list of being someone I thought would be the successor for Stafford.
I mean, look, in the top 13, it's second quarterback. It's going to be a 50-50 proposition. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it.
We've seen quarterbacks in the first round flop, and we've seen them, we've seen maybe Brady went in the fifth, sixth round. So you just never know, do you?
Yeah. Russell Wilson, the third. There's tons of great examples. So all right. Well, we don't have to get. I appreciate you indulging my and understanding, because yeah, we'll see. I mean, we don't know. I mean, like you said, I liked how you couched that. Sometimes trades, everybody wants, in sports and in life and politics, everything, everybody wants to, there has to be a winner and a loser. And that's just not necessarily always how it works. Though I really do hope, James Pierce, first of all, gets his life together, most importantly. And we, fixes some of those issues, but then also can come back in and be a double-digit sack guy for the Falcons for years to come. So we'll see. Guys, is there anything else we want to? I mean, we flew through those rankings because I am a great producer slash co-host. So
just out of interest, just going back to that
yeah,
obviously picking Seahawks at 1. What was it just because they were Super Bowl champions that was the logic in terms of going forward, or I'm just trying to understand it more than anything, because to me,
no, that's
the only reason I struggle with Seahawks at 1, and I know they're Super Bowl champions, they beat us and all of that, but they've lost probably one of their key pieces in their offense in terms of Kenneth Walker. I know Zach Charbonnet is still there, but he's probably not going to be back for a while. I know they've added Jadarian Price, but there's talk that he's not even going to be the step-in guy. So I think their running back situation is really not troublesome, but is that we don't know what's going with it. So, and that was a massive part of their game in the last season. So I'm just to have such a big question mark over one of your key pieces. That's where I struggle with that. Whereas I think with from the flip side, I know, and again, I know there is probably bias in it, but the Rams
Sure.
haven't changed apart from fix the one great issue that plagued us last year in cornerbacks in terms of getting basically just the Chiefs cornerbacks and just thinking we'll have them. So that's I just wondered what the thought behind picking the Seahawks was. That was all.
Uh, I think that's a great and you also the Seahawks lost their offensive coordinator, which was a big part. So that's a for me here it is. There has to be a one, there has to be a two and a three. I personally when I started at the top, batch, and I'll give you I'll throw the floor to you too. I started the pot. I knew my top three teams were Seahawks, Rams, and Bills. And I think it's
Yeah,
a dice roll, and we're power ranking. We're not set, so. Um, I couple things. I personally wonder if Stafford peaked last year and he was an MVP and you didn't win.
Mhm.
That's a thing. I think the Seahawks are a really well balanced team, whereas the Rams, well, I mean the Rams have a great defense too, but it feels like the Seahawks can win and they have a great special teams. They have they're very good across all of it versus being like so I
Yeah. I
like that
mean,
about
yeah,
them. And you had to pick one. And I honestly, the fact is, the last game I saw before the Super Bowl was them
yeah,
besting you guys. So I had to, yes, I think the Walker thing, but we've also seen teams where, you know, unfortunately, I think that's why the running back market is still capped at a certain amount is like, you can replace that at least 80%,
yeah.
so I don't know that was my thing. And then I just also I'm a freaking diehard Josh Allen guy, and I'm just wondering like is he I want to see him win one because it sucks
He,
being that great and not winning, but you never
yeah,
know,
I
so
think he's. Yeah, I kind of. I mean, probably a lot of people will probably, and you can pull stats. I know going into the Panthers game. I know from the previous Panthers game when we played them in the regular season, I think we ranked 32nd in defense from the Panthers to the Panthers game. But
mm,
before that, we were first in every metric.
mm.
Whereas I think the Seahawks hovered around 5-1 the whole year in terms of defense. So I suppose in terms of consistency, probably again defense. I mean, their defense was monstrous last year, and it doesn't look like it's going to change too much. They've lost a couple pieces, but I think they've replaced them with good pieces. So I'm not against the Seahawks being one. I just was more curious as to.
No, I think it's a fair question. It's Batch, what was your thinking?
See, for me, first thing, recency bias. The last game I watched was the Super Bowl Seahawks winning. And then the game before that was besting the Rams. Rams are phenomenal. And I was literally on a knife edge between Rams or Seahawks. Also, for me, yeah, they've lost Kenneth Walker and they have Charbonnet, which Charbonnet has proved he can do a job. Jadarian Price, and their third running back is Emmanuel Wilson. We saw him at the Packers. He can still do a job. I'm not saying he's Kenneth Walker, but he can still do a job. So they have lost, but at the same time, not lost so much they can't regain, if that makes sense.
At least they won't be giving up 15 yards every game to taunting. Now they've got rid of Reek Woolen. That's
Well, I just will say I appreciate you guys making sure that we didn't have to come on here and be talk about why you guys put the Saints over the Falcons for at least half an hour. So because that would have happened. Guys, it's great to see you. By the way, audience, we're recording on a Sunday, so you're gonna get this pod on Monday, and it's gonna be like, wow. Yeah, and we are heading into this the dog days of summer's coming up. We're gonna come up with some fun ideas, but we're gonna be talking about schedule next week. So we'll try to figure out a fun way to divide that up. Maybe we can talk Fletch into joining us, and then yeah, and then we're also looking at trying to get some guests in. potentially some new co-hosts in, and yeah, hurdle the line, hurdles on. I guess we're not hurdling anything anymore. Is that was that
Yeah, we can still
fun?
hurdle that power.
Yeah, hurdle that top three. No,
Yeah.
hurdle. All right, I'll say it at the end. All right, guys. It was really nice to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. Please make sure again to share, to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And we will be back Monday. I know the college pod. Make sure you're still listening to that, Sam. Wednesdays, I believe, is the fantasy pod rolling out at
Yeah,
this point.
Thursdays we'll be doing a just a fun little uh, fantasy game night sort of thing this week. Just a nice, easy breezy show.
Well, have me on sometime. I love talking fantasy in the off season. And then yeah, so thanks so much, Sebastian. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you, audience. Hurdle that power ranking.